Welcome to the Warning Track Power Hour. I am Dr. Andrew Scath. He is Dr. Michael Werman, Esquire. On today's show, we'll be recapping the NFL's Week 6, talking about our bets and our locks of the week and the big board. We'll also be talking about the Chiefs' victory. We'll talk a little bit about the MLB playoffs, now in the League Championship Series phase of the playoffs. But we'll kick off today. Yes, with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now avoiding that uh, more ugly start with a victory over the Detroit Lions, 30-17 was the final.
hmm
We saw some pretty good performances from the Chiefs' offense, and the defense was good enough in the game. Mike, are you now ready to declare the Chiefs have righted the ship, or still concerned moving forward?
Well, I think in terms of how they look, I am feeling good, but they did have taken three losses already on the season, which
Yeah.
is, of course, more than they had all last season. So even if they play well, they'll still pick up a couple of losses here and there, so it won't look you might not, they might finish, 11-6 or something like that, and that would be a down year for them, and it would be, again, it's going to be hard to get home field advantage in the playoffs that way. I think the Chiefs probably right now might be playing the best football of any of the major contenders. I guess I still am kind of skeptical about Indianapolis. I think they have the number one seed right now in the AFC with Buffalo going down last night to Atlanta. I think they're the only 5-1 team in the AFC. I think Tampa is actually the only 5-1 team in the NFC right now.
Yeah.
And I don't think either of those two teams are uh, the two best teams in the conference. I don't know. Tampa's I think closer than Indianapolis is. I guess Pittsburgh's also 4-1, so they're the other only one loss.
Only
Uh,
other one loss
they
in the
have a
AFC
bye.
team.
They had a bye. They play on Thursday,
Yeah.
uh, and we'll see
And the
how they do.
Packers only have one loss. They also have one
One
tie
tie, yeah. So one loss and one
in the
tie.
AFC.
A single loss, yeah. So I don't, but yeah, the Chiefs are 3-3. They're only a game behind the Chargers and the Broncos for the division lead. Um, I think they've been more impressive in their wins lately. I think had the Chiefs not slipped up to Jacksonville, I would be really confident in how the Chiefs are doing if they were 4-2. But they're 3-3, so they're still they have some tough games ahead of them. I think they should beat the Raiders at home. I think they should probably beat the Commanders at home. But then they have the Bills, so. Even if they play really well, you think they might just be 5-4 going through 9 games, which isn't so hot. It's just kind of barely, and there's some tough teams after that too. So uh, they still have the Broncos to play twice. They still have the Colts to play, uh, who have looked good. They still have the Cowboys, who again maybe not be so great right now, but they have some firepower on offense. They have some tough games coming up. Uh,
Chargers again.
Chargers again, and
Texans.
yeah, who knows about the Texans? Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's up in the. I guess you say it's uh, yeah. Luckily they have the Titans coming later in the season, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's the game right before Christmas. So that's the game before the very short 4 day, 3 days of rest before the Christmas Day game
mhm.
against the Broncos.
Yeah, so the Chiefs are, I think. Their second half of the schedule is a little easier than the first half, but it doesn't mean that that's cupcakes all the way through either. So
Yeah.
they need to start racking up a few wins in a row, I think, for me to feel comfortable that they can, win the division or something like that. So, um, but
But the win against a very good team in Detroit is a nice surprise, I guess, maybe in a
yeah,
sense that it
I
was
think
that it
people think
wasn't that it was kind of comfortable too, even.
it turned out not to be it wasn't a squeaker, and it turned out, yeah, that the Chiefs won handily over a team that was probably maybe seen as the best in the NFC at least, if not the top team in the NFL going into uh, the night in Arrowhead. So, and the Chiefs, yeah, the Chiefs dominated in terms of um, yards, in terms of points, of course, they won by 13, and it was just even again they left a couple, even with some mistakes on the Chiefs' part, they were fortunate, they left a point with Butker missing another extra point. I don't know what happened on that one. Did he slip or something on that one? It looked pretty bad. Um, the Chiefs got a little fortunate that the first drive of the Lions did not turn into a touchdown because of that pass back to Jared Goff that turned out to be an illegal formation or illegal shift or something like that.
Oh, right, yes. I forgot
Um,
about that play.
yeah, Goff was a little bit fortunate to catch the ball. He almost dropped it, but then it didn't end up mattering anyway. It turned into a field goal. So the Chiefs, I think, were able to withstand the early pressure that Detroit had, and then I think they proved themselves that they were the superior team in most ways going after that. So but again, I think those three losses already have left them little margin for error. So even if they are playing really well, they don't have much room to slip up going forward.
But comparing it just to another team that was expected to be a contender, though, the Baltimore Ravens ended up dropping yet another game. Now they've lost four
Yeah,
in a row, down at 1-5.
1-5. Yeah, I'd rather be 3-3 than 1-5. That's for sure.
So
And who
you're not in
knows
that
when?
situation. But they are 1-0 in their division, so they're have a lot of division games left, and time to pick up some ground there, I guess, if especially if Pittsburgh doesn't end up running away with it somehow.
Yeah, they have an easier
So
division this year than the Chiefs do, probably because Burrow's gone. So
yeah,
the Bengals are not the real Bengals that they are, at least with Burrow playing. And the
and
Browns are just
Cleveland doesn't
right.
look all that good either. Yeah, so
No. And now they have Joe Flacco traded from Cleveland to Cincinnati. Uh, and of course, he played against the Green Bay Packers, Joe Flacco, for the second time, although he couldn't beat the second time. Although he did cover the big spread, uh, which was one of my locks
mm,
of the week. Should we transition to the locks of the week? Or
sure.
do we want to talk more about the Chiefs?
Was there anything else to talk about the Chiefs? Maybe just maybe the little chippiness after the game, though. Were you surprised to see a little skirmish break out after the game was
I
over
guess it
between
was sort of a
Branch
dumb,
and
yeah, like
Juju Smith-Schuster?
Brian Branch was. It, he compl I don't know. The Chiefs were just trying to shake his hand, and then he kind of just got disgruntled and went after Juju. I think Juju rubs people the wrong way a lot of times because of his TikTok videos and things like that. But um, it was kind of I was a little surprised because it didn't seem like it was a particularly chippy or fighty game. Maybe it was hard fought, but it wasn't like there was a lot of, fighting after the whistle or pushing and shoving in the game. So I was a little surprised that the end turned into that because it didn't seem like there was a lot of bad blood on the field.
Yeah.
It's a hard fought, competitive game for both sides, but it wasn't like two divisional teams fighting each other and disliking one another or something like that. So I was a little surprised that it turned out that way. Well, how about you, Dr. Scaff? Were you surprised at the scuffle, the skirmish at the end of the kerfuffle?
I'm not surprised when it happens, during the game, but I am surprised when it happens afterwards, though. That isn't, yeah, usually when they're shaking hands, it don't seem like that. That doesn't seem to happen much in the pros, maybe a little bit in college games, but yeah, so I was a little surprised to see. But I guess it looks like the league has already doled out a one game
One game
suspension for
suspension for
Branch,
Branch, yeah, which I think is appropriate. I don't think it's worth like 10 games or something like that.
multiple games.
Yeah.
I mean, from the league perspective, I mean, you do not want that to be the norm, right?
Mhm.
Like but handing out a big suspension is probably not doing anything. Like the league knows that they don't want that. the players know the league doesn't want that after the games. So I don't they probably don't see the need to it doesn't happen very often either, right? So they probably shouldn't need to hand out a big suspension. So it seems
Mhm.
like that's plenty. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't look great for the league to have these kinds of things happen. So you can see them being a little bit embarrassed, right?
Yes.
Because you don't want like after a hard fought game between two Super Bowl contenders, you don't want the story to be that there was a skirmish after the game was over, right? That's not the league wants them to be talking about what happened on the field, right? Not what happened on the field after the game was over. So
Yeah.
yeah, hence the suspension and not nothing, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But all right. Any more about the Chiefs, or do you want to move on to picks? Neither of us had picks in this
No,
game.
we neither of us have picks in the game, so might as well move on. I think we'll talk about the Chiefs more while we preview the Chiefs game next week against the Raiders at home. The Chiefs are heavily favored against the Raiders going in. We'll see if any of us make that one of our locks of the week going forward. But we did have mixed success, I will say, this week in our locks of the week. I was 2 out of 3. You were 0 out of 3, Dr. Scaff. Uh, what happened to you this week? What went wrong in your opinion? Did the Chiefs not
Yeah,
play as well as they should have, and or was there some sort of
yeah.
issue with your betting that caused was a problem?
It clearly was not my fault. It was their fault, right? It was yeah. I mean, I picked the right things. They did not follow through with it. That's what I'm going to go with my. It's a bit of a revolving door, I guess, because I was 3-0 last week, and now it even the betting gods evened it up for me, I guess. Is that one way to look at it?
Yeah, I think that's one way to look at it. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, you kind of already previewed
I did. I guess
one of your picks.
I
Do you
was
want to
2-1.
go
I
into it
guess
at all?
usually we like to go through our losses first before we like to go through our wins. So should I get my first loss out of the way first?
Or maybe I should do my first
You
loss,
do your
just since
first
I
loss
only have loss.
since you only have
So then we
losses.
can at least end with one of your wins. How about that?
Yeah, well, yeah, that'll be good.
Maybe my worst pick apparently was in the Seattle Jacksonville game. I had the over in that one at 46 and a half. Final score was not anywhere close to that, only 20-12. So 32 points. So I only missed that one by more than two touchdowns with extra points. So that's not good. I really thought that would be a much higher scoring game. Uh, Neither team really helped in that scenario. Seattle ended up winning at 20-12.
Yeah, that was a low. That was uh well, it was over under was free at 47 and a half. So that was lower score than I predicted. But I did predict the under in that one. Um
It was only 46 and a half when I made the pick though, so it went up
oh, so it
by
was
like
even
only
you had a
4 points.
better number, but it still didn't end up
Yeah.
working.
But they,
Um
they weren't even close to the lower number even. So
yeah, I
usually
was a
if
little
you see the number creeping up, you would expect it to go over, but yeah.
yeah, I was a little surprised Seattle didn't score as much, didn't score more points. Because I don't think
Yeah.
Jacksonville's defense, they're big play defense, but I don't think of them as an elite point uh, point miserly defense or whatever you want to call it in terms of not allowing much offense. I think uh, they've been overachieving mostly this year, and I think that will come back at some point. But yeah, Jacksonville. I guess Jacksonville lost that game. Jacksonville only scored 12 points. So
There
I was
was
thinking
two
earlier.
two missed extra points
Two
on
missed
there.
extra points. I guess they only, Seattle scored in 20. I guess that doesn't surprise me as much, but I would have thought Jacksonville had scored more. I thought Jacksonville was probably going to win that game. So I'm a little surprised, especially coming off the Chiefs victory. And they're at home. It's a noon game with Seattle coming in, from the West Coast. I think they had a lot more going for them. They should have. I think they kind of laid an egg in that game. Jacksonville did, especially try to establish themselves as maybe one of the premier teams in the AFC. and they haven't didn't weren't able to do that. Um,
Yeah, it looks like it was like a lot of short drives, lots of punts. Jacksonville missed a field goal, so 5 points on the kicking game that they lost. Still not anywhere close to enough to,
no,
approach that over though. So that was apparently just a bad pick for me.
yeah. Well, I had a missed my lone loss wasn't a huge loss. I had predicted the Saints to cover against the Patriots. The Saints were 3.5 point underdogs at home against New England. I thought the Saints could actually cover and maybe even win outright against New England. New England ended up winning that game 25-19, so they won by 6. So I was 2.5 points off in my prediction there. So that was just a field goal either way. So a field, had the Saints kicked another field goal, I could have. I could have covered, but they didn't. Still, I thought the Saints kept it fairly close against the team that is considered to be one of the better teams, I think, now in the AFC. New England, with Mike Vrabel now as the coach, and Drake May doing pretty well. The potential playoff team perhaps in New England. Um, and I think they are also now in since Buffalo lost to Atlanta. I think they are technically in first place in the NFC. I mean the AFC East now. They're both tied at 4-2, but New England has the tiebreaker over
Correct.
the Bills. So, um, but New Orleans kept it close. I still think New Orleans is kind of a scrappy, plucky team. I'm not going to shy away from betting on them. I don't think later this year. I didn't make a New Orleans bet this week, but I'm going to keep them in mind as I go forward. I've liked what they've uh, done. Although I think I'm 0-3 though when I bet on New Orleans this year. Uh,
Oh,
I bet New Orleans in week 1 plus 6.5 over Arizona. I think I missed that one. I also
yep.
bet New Orleans at Buffalo under 48.5, and that turned out to be an over. So um,
Yeah. That
I'm
was in
0,
week 4. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
I'm 0-3 with New Orleans. So maybe I will. I should shy away from them, um,
yeah.
but yeah, that was my first lock of the week that missed, and my only loss of the week.
Well, my next loss this week, which sadly I can say this time, I had bets on both of the Monday night games that both failed. And that like, the second game I picked though was the Chicago at Washington. Also had the over in that one at 49 and a half. Um, it looked like the Bears were going to lose that one, but then they ended up with a fortunate turnover very late when it looked like Washington was trying to close the game out. Had they gone down and scored a touchdown, then they may have tripped the over, but they did not do that. Instead, they turned it over. Chicago bled out the clock and kicked a late field goal to win the game 25-24 to get to 49 points with the over under was 49 and a half points, Mike. So I lost that game by half a point.
Half a point. That's got to be
One,
tough.
1 point, I guess, technically, yeah. Half a point would have got me to a push, I guess, which we can't do. So I needed one more point somewhere along the way. 25-24, though. That's kind of an odd score, too.
Yeah, 25-24. Is that a scoregami, do you think, Dr. Scott?
I would say no.
25-24. There have been 20 25-24 games
That's a lot.
in the
Yeah,
history of the
that's a lot.
NFL.
More than I would have guessed.
Yeah,
But
more than
yeah,
I would have
so
guessed too.
needing only the 1 point. Yeah, there was a fourth quarter failed 2 point conversion by the Bears to attempt to tie the game, which would have put it at 48, making a field goal to win it. So that Bears missed 2 point conversion is probably what actually sunk me.
Yeah,
I
that
pick
was
because that would have
that
tied my
would tipped
points
you
for
over. Yeah, the missed they were chasing those points, and yeah,
yeah.
yeah, they missed those. But yeah, that was a game that I predicted correctly on the big board At least I didn't. I should have. I wish I had gone. Of course, Chicago to win outright, but that wasn't.
Did you thread the needle on that one?
I no.
Oh no, because you did,
Chi-
yeah, because
I, I
you
picked.
picked them to cover but not to win. Yeah,
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
you
um,
did thread the needle on another game though, didn't you?
one of them I did. I think maybe it was Chargers or um,
Yep, yeah, that was it. You had
Char
Miami to cover at
Miami
at
cover and
plus four
Chargers
and a
win.
half.
Yeah,
Or Chargers win, yeah. So and they won by two. So
that was
yeah,
my best. That was my best week. Or I got missed the over under though.
and
Uh,
not one of your locks though. So
yeah, the
probably
Baltimore.
probably a would have been a questionable lock, but
Yeah, I think the only game that I got all three. I got all three. I guess Cleveland, Pittsburgh. I got all three. We both got all three on Cleveland, Pittsburgh.
yeah,
The money line, the spread, and the over under. I got all three on the Rams and Baltimore as well. I think that was it. And the Detroit Kansas City game, we each got all three, or I got all three. I went under, you went over.
I
Uh,
was over in that one. Yeah,
so but you did a little bit better on the week than I did. I mixed some numbers up and I ended up screwing myself a little bit. I ended up losing about $400 this week. You only lost about $30 this week, so you were almost breaking even. I was a little bit below par, but I was at least above 500 though on my locks of the week. My second lock of the week, my first victory. Was the Tampa Bay San Francisco game. Tampa Bay was favored by 3 when I made the bet. It actually got bumped up to 3.5. So I knew my bet was on the right side when I was making it. Um, and Tampa ended up winning that game 30-19. Mac Jones finally came down to earth a little bit, showing that maybe Brock Purdy, maybe the Niners might need Brock Purdy to come back. They can't just win with McCorkle under center? Or do you think there's a quarterback controversy brewing in San Francisco, Dr. Scaff?
I don't think there's a real controversy. I mean, they just gave that contract to Purdy, so I think they have incentive for him to play and play well. But it does seem like the 49ers offense runs pretty smoothly with almost anybody back there, though, right? I mean, to go uh, from Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, to a guy who's flamed out in one place and then was a backup for a not very good team the next year, to being thrust into the starter role and playing really well. It just it really does just seem like San Francisco's offense pretty much runs on maybe no matter who's there. Maybe it's just
Yeah,
that
I think
quarterback
it.
friendly
Yeah, I think it's a
to
very
play
quarterback
there.
friendly. Yeah, you just need a caretaker quarterback and then if you have somebody that's more than a caretaker, that can really, because Garoppolo did well in that offense, and other quarterbacks have done well in that offense as well. So, um,
But not quite everyone, I guess, right? But
yeah, yeah.
it's yeah, minimal. Maybe it's basically just like anyone can do okay there, but then yeah, if you're more than okay, then
Mhm.
yeah, it's even better. But something like that. Yeah, how were Mac Jones? I think his numbers were actually pretty decent again, weren't they? I guess he did throw a couple of interceptions though. 347 yards passing is pretty high for expectations, at least for him.
Yeah,
But 6 sacks and 2 picks, that's the downside.
it is. It is. Um, Corporal. How about your third lock of the week that turned into a unlock of the week?
Yeah, this was the other sort of dud performance on Monday night from the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo was favored by 3.5 points on the road at Atlanta. Did not do much of anything. A couple of untimely turnovers for Buffalo led to a what was the final score? 24
4-14.
to 14 loss. So I had them at minus 3.5. They did not cover that, and they did not win the game either. So
They won
that
by,
was my
yeah.
third loss of the week.
Yeah,
Over three.
I was surprised that Buffalo laid an egg such as they did, and I was a little surprised that Atlanta played so well, especially in the first half. They played really well, but second half was kind of a boring half. Buffalo scored coming in the first possession, and then basically nothing after that. Yeah, I don't know what's going on up in there in Buffalo. Again, maybe they aren't quite as good as we thought they would be. They don't really have any like any great skill position players. Shakir, I guess, maybe is the best one, but um, they don't have, they don't have Stephon Diggs anymore, um, which I think hurts them. They've had some injuries on defense. Milano's been hurt. He seems to get hurt a lot though. Um, but yes, they're relying basically on Josh Allen. I think maybe the roster is coming to bite them a little bit because they're paying Allen so much money. They can't afford, it's a little bit like the Chiefs. The roster has been costing a lot of money, and they can't afford to have the at least the Eagles style of roster where you have stars at every position, it seems like. I wonder if that will come to an end in the next couple of years. Um, but so far, it hasn't happened there. But speaking of
Well, in two losses in a row now for Buffalo, so
two losses in a row for Buffalo,
yeah,
uh, yeah,
pretty surprising.
I think so.
Yeah.
Initially, they were looking good coming off of 4-0, and then now 4-2. Um, my third lock of the week that turned into my second victory of the week was the game with the largest spread of the week, and that was Green Bay favored by 14 and a half points at home against the Cincinnati Bengals. I thought the game would be closer than that. I thought Green Bay would win. They won fairly comfortably, but they did not win by 15 points. Green Bay won the game 27 to 18. A perfect 3-2 ratio that they won by. How many 27 to 18 games do you think there have been? Uh,
Fewer
in
than 25-24 games.
three. There have been three 27 to 18 games, all since the year 2000.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too crazy of a score. It's you don't have to have
And
like 2 point
so,
conversions or safeties or something odd to happen.
so I'm gonna give you something even more unusual about the three 27 to 18 games. One team has been involved in all three 27 to 18 games,
Really?
and that was the Green Bay Packers. Uh,
Wow.
they lost to the Bills in the year 2000, 27 to 18. And they actually have played two games this year where they have won 27 to 18. They beat the Washington Commanders 27 to 18 back in week two. And then they beat the Packers, and then they beat the Bengals 27 to 18 here in week six. So the Packers are, if any team has to win 27 to 18, I guess they're the only team that's won multiple times 27 to 18.
Hmm.
The only team that's played in every 27 to 18 game historically as well. So um,
Crazy.
yeah,
Well, it looks like the Bengals actually missed 2 field goals during the game, so it could have been even closer. So
yeah,
your 14.5 pick was uh seemingly very, very safe then too.
yeah. It could have been very safe. Yeah, it ended up being
Even could have been safer, but
safer. Yeah, but
you're fine.
I was fine. Turned out fine. Everybody was happy about it, at least on my end. And I was 2-1. Now I'm 8-10 on the year for my locks of the week. You are a mere 7-11 on your locks of the week. So again, if you were picking against us, um, you would
For
be
the season.
21 and 15, and that would be
Yeah.
a healthy uh, win total. you'd be up 600 about $600 if you had just gone against us this whole season. But we're going to come back and we're going to start righting the ship, and we're going to be over 500 with our locks of the week coming along as the season goes on. But and we mentioned a little bit
We had
of
a shot at it if I just didn't go 0-3 this week, Mike. So that's
yeah,
I mean, if the teams I picked didn't ruin my bets.
yeah, that's the issue. We didn't make the wrong. We haven't we don't we haven't made a wrong pick yet. It's just that there's been some
That's right.
execution issues on the part of the talent on the field. Um,
Exactly.
it just that's how that's kept me from breaking even this year on the in the big board. I'm down nearly $2,400. You are down about $950. So we are both down fairly significant amounts. Uh, I am down more significantly than you are, but you have gotten seven more correct picks on the year than I have, and that's made up basically the difference between uh, the two of us. So I need to step up my game. Maybe is this the time that I start picking the over unders individually? What do you think I should do?
I think it's time, and I made a new graphic on the big board spreadsheet to show that, just to see that it's the difference between us has been 7 picks. Six of them were on that over under that I've outpaced you so far by picking on both sides of this.
You've actually outpaced me by eight on the over under, so that's
Oh,
uh,
it is eight.
yeah.
Yes, you're +1 everywhere else, and
I'm
then
+1 on the money line and
-8.
the spread. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's the issue.
that's right. It was that way. Yes.
Neither of us have done terribly well on the spread. We're only 40 out of 92 on the spread, so neither of us. That's maybe where our weaknesses really lie. Uh, but yeah, so I'll think about going away from the blanket under, but don't count it. Don't hold your breath. I might still go blanket under. I did a little bit better than you this week on the over unders because I did go blanket under. I was 9 out of 15. You were only 8 out of 15 in the year over under picks. So. Maybe these unders are going to start falling through.
So the
Uh,
overs on the season are just one over 500, I guess, right? That's what that
yeah,
means then, right? Yeah.
yeah.
So yes, had you gone blanket over, you would only be one pick back.
I don't even want to pick better. So yeah,
So the blanket picks haven't been that great
if I'd
necessarily.
individually picked each game, I could be way worse, or I could be slightly better. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm picking two unders in my locks of the week for next week. So there's that little preview for our week seven picks. But before we get to week seven, do you want to talk a little baseball?
Were there any other games you want to mention
Oh,
real
any other
quickly,
games to
or
mention?
not? I
We
don't,
can, we
maybe
can,
not. Maybe there really wasn't anything else from this week that
we
was
mentioned
worth.
quite a few.
Yeah.
We didn't mention that the Tennessee Titans coach Brian Callahan was fired this week because of his poor coaching, and poor winning percentage. Uh, it's a little surprising because the Titans did win last week, uh, but they
Hmm.
they didn't win this week uh, against the Raiders. They lost 20-10, and so they were so Callahan is gone. Mike McCoy is the new interim coach in Tennessee. But I was a little, were you surprised about that news that we have a coach fired already this year? And it's
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know that we really expected a lot out of Tennessee. I don't think
no,
you and I had picked them to win a lot of games in our season win total picks. So I'm a little surprised that it was that soon to let somebody go from a team that wasn't really expected to do that well. But
yeah,
it does seem like teams that have picked number one and taken a quarterback, the coach doesn't have that long of a lifespan now in the league, though, either, right? For their
no.
job.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
going back. You picked the Tennessee Titans to win only 4 games this year. I picked them to win 5 games. So I picked them at 5-12. So I was more the over under on the season was 5.5. So we each had the under on the Titans, and that's actually looking pretty good, I think, um, going
yeah, but
forward.
I mean, so you'd think, if the team's like 1-5 at this point, 1-4 at this point, 1-5, I guess, right?
Yeah.
that you wouldn't, and their over under season win total is only 5.5. They're kind of like online for only slightly less than what their expectation is. Is the coach responsible for that, or is it the general manager for putting those players together? Maybe even more responsible for it, because it's like they must not have the right personnel to win enough games. But I mean, I don't know what the expectation is. So like, if you knew it was that bad before the season started, like why did you even roll out with that coach? Uh, then just to fire him during the season. I don't see really what the point is, unless there's some like exceptional problem in the locker room, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand it either. I think maybe they're looking at what's going on in New England and Mike Vrabel's doing well since they got rid of Vrabel. Now they're upset that they made the wrong choice. Maybe Callahan got the blame.
Yeah, but it seems like the owner of the team should be more likely to fire the general manager than the general manager is to fire the coach.
Well, yeah, I think the general manager is usually the person who fires the coach first because they want to save their job. So,
Yeah, but now the onus is on whoever this new coach is, who is, or at least internal promotion for the interim, to like right the ship immediately, or
yeah,
everybody's at risk. But they have a new quarterback too, so like they really didn't give a chance to the coach to like see how he could you know as the season goes on develop that quarterback,
yeah,
Cam Ward, to see if he can turn the team into a winner over the course of the year. That just seems crazy to go ahead and
yeah.
let the coach go that early. Unless there's some additional issues that we don't know about at this point, which is possible.
Yeah, so I think I don't know, maybe that's the most interesting thing that came out of the week. I think maybe the most surprising game was maybe the Thursday night game where the Giants just throttled
Oh yeah,
the Eagles. That was a big
34-17. Was that anywhere on your radar as to what the
no. I thought maybe it could be close, but I ended up picking the we both picked the Eagles to cover that game. They were 7.5 point favorites. We thought the Eagles would take care of business, especially after losing the week before. But it seems like both Bills and the Eagles did, you know, to the two last remaining undefeated teams, each of those teams have lost two in a row
yeah
uh, now. So we'll see what happens next week in week 7. But yeah, maybe let's move on. Let's talk a little baseball and then get on to week 7
sure
action. Baseball, we've reached the league championship series. The ALCS is being contested between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners are up 2-0 in that series. The Mariners won both games in Toronto, and it looks like the Dodgers, who are playing the Brewers, have won both of their games in Milwaukee. So we have a Dodgers up 2-0 uh, lead, a 2 nothing lead going back to Los Angeles, and we have the Mariners up 2 nothing going back to Seattle. Uh, do you think either of those teams, which of those teams is more likely not to make the World Series? Which team is more likely to be subject to a shock comeback by the opposition?
well, I think it'd be far less surprising, I think, if Toronto comes back and beats Seattle. I really would be shocked if the Dodgers end up losing that series up 2-0 going home. Uh, so, Seattle has a history sort of not being able to get to the World Series. They did have that one season where they finished with the best record in the history of baseball and then did not make the World Series. So it
Hmm.
wouldn't be terribly shocking if they laid an egg. But, up 2-0, they're in very good position right now. Uh, but yeah, the Dodgers were also favored in the series before the series started. So against the Brewers, so that it wouldn't be shocking if the Dodgers win out. I think anyway. What's your expectation? Are you looking? Do you think we will see an all West Coast World Series?
Most likely, probably. It's hard to win four. You have to win 4 out of 5 to
Yeah,
come back. So it's tough to do that. I think the
you
Royals
get
are
you
one
get
of the
three at
few
home
teams.
though, so
Yeah, Yeah, I think maybe you could say since I think the Royals were one of the at least the first team to win the World Series after losing the first two games at home back in '85, which was a rarity, and they won in 7 games. So I guess it can be done, but
Yeah.
I think maybe it was the Yankees maybe lost their first 2 games at home and then won the next four or something like that and won the World Series. Uh,
Hmm.
the Padres or something like that. But it's a rare. I think it's tough. It's tough. I think if you lose the first 2 games on the road, you're at least just you're just you're not in a disadvantage at least at that point. If you win your next 3 at home, you can still all you have to do is take 1 out of 2 to win the final. Win the final in 7. But um, yeah,
But yeah,
I
we're
it's
in a bad position here though, right? For both of these
yeah.
teams because they've lost their 2 home games
Two
and
home games. So yeah, now they're down 2 home games. You think okay, and this is one of the things where is this a game where the home team can clinch at home rather than having to go back to Toronto or go back to Milwaukee, and that's probably the goal at this point to clinch at home,
yeah,
especially if they get that up 3-0 or 3-1. They're going to want to try to do that. But yeah, it seems like yeah, I don't know. I would guess probably more likely that if any team's going to blow, it's going to be the Mariners. But um, the Brewers have been really good this year. So, but the
yeah,
Dodgers pitching in the playoffs has been excellent, and they had I think 2 complete games in there. Um,
or
first,
nearly anyway, right?
yeah,
What Snell went 8 innings I think yesterday,
yeah, okay, he only went 8.
but only
Yamamoto,
gave up 1 hit I think.
and then he picked that guy off. He who
Right,
got hit.
so he
So
faced the minimum I think through the 8. Yeah,
and then I think
for
Yamamoto has got a complete game this game.
oh wow, yeah, and they saved Otani on the mound for later in the series, so maybe they won't even
Need him, yeah.
use him even. That'd be pretty crazy. Yeah,
But yeah, so that's baseball. We'll see how that goes. By the time we're back next week, maybe we'll have a World Series in place, a matchup in place, and we can discuss the World Series here on the Winter Power Hour. But now I want to move back to the NFL, talk about Week 7. We mentioned the Chiefs are hosting the Raiders, a rare noon Arrowhead time uh, game against the Raiders. Um, the Raiders are 11 and a half point underdogs as we speak. Uh, is this going to be one of your locks of the week? Are you going to take the Chiefs minus 11 and a half against the hated Las Vegas Raiders?
I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna pick the spread on this one. I generally I am a homer and do tend to bet on the Chiefs. Last season I did a few times would take the opposing team on the spread because they're playing and winning all these games extremely closely. But this year they've been playing not quite so close, winning comfortably or losing close. Uh, but I would be more likely to lean towards that, covering that 11 and a half point spread than not picking it that way. Picking on the Raiders. Uh, I don't think I'll do that. But I think I actually will be making a pick in this game though on the over under, Mike. So if we want
Oh,
to
over under. Which are you going to go
mention that
under
now,
the
or
patented Werman special under, or are you going to are you going to buck the trend and go over?
I'm gonna take the over in the game. I think the Chiefs offense seems like it's opened up a little bit. And the Raiders defense hasn't been completely locked down. The Chiefs seem to be doing pretty well against teams even with decent defenses. So I would expect the Chiefs to be able to score comfortably, upper 20s, maybe more. The over under number for the game is 45 and a half. So I'm going to take the over in this one, Mike. I'm guessing you're going to take the under though.
Yes, I'm going
If
to take under.
you mentioned that you're taking 2 unders this week, but I don't know if this is one of your locks though. There are 13 other games that you might be convinced to take the over, but maybe not this one.
Not, I don't think that one. I actually have my first lock of the week is going to be an under as well. It's the highest over under total at 54 and a half. This is
Oh,
Washington at Dallas. Again, this game seems like it might be a very high scoring game, but I think it won't be as high scoring. I think Dallas's defense will play better against Washington, and they'll watch. I think Washington will hold Dallas's offense down a little bit. So 54 and a half is just a lot of points to uh, bet on any game. And it could be lopsided one way or the other. And if it does end up lopsided one way or the other, it's hard to get to that 54 um, margin. So if it's like 31-17 or something like that, that's only 48. So I even, it would have to be 31-24, 29, 28, 27, something like that to get above 54 and a half. So um, I'm leaning that one team won't score as many points. I haven't decided whether I want to go on the spread with Washington or Dallas at this point yet, but I still think under 54 and a half is gonna be the number. So that's my first lock of the week.
Yeah, sometimes on those big games, you sort of are okay with if you're trying to bet the over that if one team scores a lot of points, like in that one game, Baltimore Houston game, where I thought it would hit the over, and then Houston basically covered it themselves. 54 and a half is so many points that you can't expect one team to cover all of that, right? So
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not you're probably not going to see it that way. So even if
Huh.
you think your upper expectation for points scored is like in the upper 30s, even like you still need contribution from the other team.
Yes.
Significant contribution.
Yes. And that was
54 and a half. That is a that's gotta be your highest high of the year, isn't it? The
probably,
over-unders? I think it is. I think we've only been over 50 a few times this season, and
well, I have one more over under to pick. Should I just go with my next over under?
I
Since my
think I think this is a trend, isn't it?
It's a trend because there's a 52 and a half over under Tampa Bay at Detroit that I'm also going to take the under with. I think this Detroit and Tampa Bay are both high flying offenses, just like Washington and Dallas can be. But I think Tampa Bay has a lot of injuries on their off. Ibuka is hurt, maybe. Godwin and Evans are down. I think they're finally starting to take their toll. And I don't know how much Baker Mayfield can carry that offense anymore, and especially with a Detroit team that's going to be a little bit irritated, a little bit angry about their loss and being challenged by the upstart Buccaneers. Um, I think that they're going to hold the Buccaneers down, and I don't think the Buccaneers are going to score a lot of points. So the Buccaneers might be able to hold the Detroit offense down too. But if one of those teams is held down, at least I think that's good for the under. So I see a much lower scoring game, Detroit Tampa Bay. Again, I could be wrong, but I like the under 52 and a half there. So there's those two high over unders. I'm going to go under before before the numbers go down and get any lower.
Yeah, and I think I'm actually going to take a pick in this game too, but it won't be on the over/under. Uh, I do think that Baker Mayfield will have an okay game against Detroit, and will score some points. Uh, and I think maybe Detroit's likely to not have Branch with them this week for the suspension unless he decides to appeal that suspension. He could, in theory, be playing this game, but I'm going to guess he's not going to be available. So that may help Baker Mayfield and Tampa score maybe one more touchdown over the course of the game. So I'm going to take Tampa at plus 5.5 in this one against Detroit for my second lock of the week. So we're both picking in the Tampa Bay Detroit game.
Both against Tampa. That's going to be one of the better games on the slate. Is one of the Monday night games. And there's two more Monday night games. Do you like the double header on Monday night?
I don't care for it in general. I like this week's matchups better. So both of the teams are both games have better teams. But they're also spaced the timing out enough so they don't overlap by like 2 full hours like the last time, which I thought was annoying. And
Yeah,
it was up against a Major League Baseball game too, which it was too much sports on one night that are all you kind of want to watch all of it, but you really can't in that scenario. So I didn't like the schedule last week, so I'm hoping this week will be. It seems like they've spaced it out better, so it should be better for viewers.
yeah. I think, yeah, the Monday night game. Yeah, it's a little surprising. I think the Sunday night game's a little strange to this week. Atlanta at San Francisco. That would have been strange to pick at the beginning of the season. I don't know why that game was picked as the Sunday night game. I don't think
No.
either of those. I think San Francisco is a good pick, but like I don't know why Atlanta at San Francisco would have been picked. You would think that Detroit Tampa Bay would have been a bigger one. Um, maybe Washington Dallas um, at Sunday night. Uh,
When we've got some like good division rival matchups too,
yeah.
like Chiefs Raiders,
Hmm.
and Washington Dallas, like you just said too. So those are what you'd kind of expect rivalry games.
Yeah.
Later in the season, like we are now, than like the first week of the year. So, but no, not that either.
Or even Philadelphia, Minnesota, or something like that would have been interesting.
Yeah,
Sunday night.
Atlanta, San Francisco is what we're getting instead.
Curious. But it might be a good game. But Atlanta's playing a lot better. San Francisco's been playing pretty well, even though they're ravaged with injuries, as seems to happen a lot in San Francisco. I don't know if they just have bad luck or if there's some sort of injury bug attacking the 49ers every year, it seems like. Or at least maybe once every other year, it seems like they have a lot of injuries they rack up. So, um, but yeah, well, speaking of games that are not maybe premier games, is my third lock of the week. And that is one of the perhaps worst games of the season so far. Carolina at the New York Jets. Carolina is favored by 2.5 points on the road in New York. So I have to go. The Jets are winless so far. I'm picking the Jets not only to cover, but I think they're going to pick them to get their first win of the season against the Panthers, who are playing better. But I think the Jets are due to get a win. They've had some close games. They played Tampa Bay close. They played Denver close. They've gotten close to some of these wins, and I think they're going to finally get their first win at home against the Panthers. So New York Jets plus 2.5. I'm getting 2.5 points. I think they actually might win that game. So I feel like that's a good bet for me. So that's my third lock of the week. Jets, 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 Jets. Maybe hinging uh my plans on the Jets is not maybe something that's very good, but we'll see.
Will you also be making a different bet on the Jets' ability to have positive passing yards, Mike? That's one thing we didn't mention
Yeah,
from
they had
last
negative
week, but they
10 passing yards because they were sacked because Fields was sacked so much and they had so few yards anyway passing.
yeah, something like 50 sack yards, something like that, 54, something somewhere in that area. So they ended up negative 10 passing yards for the whole game, Mike. Is that something you're betting against happening again this week?
Probably. It's tough. That's tough to happen multiple weeks in a row. It's just so I just say, yeah, I think they'll have positive passing yards and maybe even positive rushing yards as well. So maybe
Oh
positive
wow.
total yards. Uh,
Is that you're saying that's going to translate to enough points to
I think they
cover
can.
the spread?
I think they can at least lose by 2 points. They only lost to the Broncos by 2 points. The Broncos are a much better team than the Panthers are, I think, at this point in the year. So
Yeah.
yeah, if they can keep it close with some better teams, I think they can eke out a victory against the Panthers and the pocket passer Bryce Young.
There you go. Yeah.
How about your third lock of the week?
My third pick, I'm going to be betting on the Eagles not dropping a third straight game. I've got them at -2.5 at Minnesota. This seems like one of those types of games that Philadelphia is going to view as they need to get themselves straightened out and win comfortably on the road against a team that's been kind of up and down in Minnesota. So I've got the Eagles being able to win by at least a field goal in this game, Mike. Philadelphia -2.5.
Yeah, I think that's a decent bet, especially not knowing who the. I guess it's Carson Wentz as the Vikings starting quarterback. They're not, again, the Vikings are a good team, but they don't really have a great quarterback. So I think Yeah, I think the Eagles will bounce back and win, and I think they'll win. I think they can win by more than a field goal. So I don't think that's a bad bet at all.
And they're coming off a little bit longer rest this week with that Thursday night game, which has been tough to pick. We've really struggled the last couple weeks. I think we've only gotten one pick between the two of us in the last two games of our spread money line over under. I think we're
Hmm.
like one between us, or like 1 for 12 on the Thursday night game the last 2 weeks.
Ooh, the Thursday night game. Yeah, I don't. It's
So
Pittsburgh
that was
Cincinnati.
Philly last week, and so they've got a little bit extra rest. I'd expect him to bounce back.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's favored by 5.5 on the road against Cincinnati this week. That's
Yeah,
a lot of points, but Cincinnati is Cincinnati. I don't feel that. I usually like to go with Pittsburgh in my bets. If I bet a Pittsburgh game, I usually bet on Pittsburgh. Um,
yeah.
but I don't know if I trust them that much. I might try to thread the needle on this one. I might do Pittsburgh money line and Cincinnati on the spread, but I haven't decided yet.
Yeah,
Um,
thread the needle or hedging your bet, either way, right? Like you're likely to get one of them right.
yeah,
Because if Cincinnati does come out and win, then you've at least got the spread pick correct.
yeah,
It's hard to miss both of those, right? The window, yeah, you're not gonna
yeah.
you're not gonna miss them both, right?
Not gonna miss them both.
Yeah.
No, well, he's presumably not.
It's tough anyway to
Yeah.
do that. So
Well, any other games that look appetizing to you this week?
not the Miami Cleveland game. I will say that. Do you think the Miami coach is going to survive another week? Or do you think his hot seat is so hot that if he drops this game to Cleveland, that will be the end of McDonald,
McDaniel?
McDaniel? Like,
It could be. He's wearing the capri pants, which it makes him more comfortable on the hot seat, I guess.
I thought you were going to say that makes him more fireable. It's like you're
Maybe more
judging his
flexible
fashion choices and
his
your
fashion choices
anti-capri
as well.
pants.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. That's yeah, I don't think I don't know if there'll be another coach that's fired this, maybe with 2 or 3 games left in the season, but I don't know if there's gonna be another coach that's fired this early in the season. That's
Yeah,
a little bit rash to me. But um, yeah, Miami, Cleveland, that uh, you wonder if, well, it's not in Cleveland. It doesn't seem like people think Stefanski's a very good coach. Uh, but he just doesn't have the players that other teams have, at least a quarterback. So maybe he'll it's like is he on the hot seat? Would he be a candidate for a firing? Um, he's been in Cleveland for a while now, but I think he's coach of the year twice. Stefanski.
that seems
Um,
surprising. Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah, because
I
they really
don't.
haven't had much there. Like they've been playing musical chairs sort of with the quarterback position since they let Mayfield go, right?
Yeah,
And that's one of those things where it looks like they didn't realize or didn't know that they should have stuck with him until after he left and did well in two other places besides there. Um,
yeah.
I know we were very critical of the trade that made Baker Mayfield irrelevant there, which yeah, we seem to have been correct on that one, as were a lot of other people.
Hmm.
Yeah. It- yeah, is Deshaun Watson just out now? Is he just gone, or
He's
is he
still
still
there. I think he's just.
injured, or he must be injured, right?
I think they're at least calling him injured. I'm not exactly
Yeah,
sure what is going on with Watson. Even if he gets healthy again, I don't know if they're going to start him. They
yeah.
have Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders, I guess, are the two quarterbacks right now.
They don't seem to have any intention of moving to like giving Sanders a shot though, do they? Have they? Seems like it's Dylan Gabriel's right now, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think they're still doing Dylan Gabriel. It's Dylan Gabriel's job to lose right now. Um,
But the expectations for the team are so low at this point that
yeah,
what is a success? That's why it seems like it should be like really difficult for Stefanski to lose his job, because the expectations have to be like very low. Maybe
Uh,
just don't lose all of the games. Is that all you have to do to hold on to the job for at least for the rest of this year?
mhm,
Something like that, right?
mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, speaking of losing our jobs, should we wrap up this week's episode of the Power Hour before our superiors decide to pull the plug on us?
That seems fair. Go for it.
Or do we have superiors here? We're the bosses here at the Power Hour, I believe. So
We
we
pull
get
our own plugs then? Is that what that is?
the uh, self plug pulling. Um,
Great.
or we pull each other's plug. Maybe it's a
Oh,
mutually assured destruction type of situation. Where we
maybe
can each fire the
that's
other, but knowing that if we fire, we get if we whoever fires the other first does not get fired, and
it's true. So it's a race to the firing, Mike. It's gonna
yeah,
happen one day. We don't know which one's gonna pull the trigger first.
yes. Um, I think though our current relationship is solid, so I don't think we need to fire anybody here at the Power Hour. But we'll see what happens later this week, especially depending on how our bets do, especially our locks of the week. If we each go 0 and 3, maybe we'll have to start looking for replacement hosts.
Right. We'll like self demote, get
Yeah,
sent down to the minors maybe, and then come back
yeah,
later.
yeah. We'll have a yeah.
Maybe we'll just have to outsource our picks for a couple of weeks until somebody else.
We'll have to go to One Track Power half hour, maybe
Oh, yes. Relegated to a
relegated to
half hour.
yeah, half hour podcast, which probably would make us much more popular since our I think our broadcast might seem interminable to some, but
Possible.
not to us here at the Power Hour. We like to give people the full hour if possible, plus much more
Yeah.
at times. But
Frequently bonus time, yes.
I think we made past the hour mark today, maybe a little bit. But that's the table here at the Power Hour. We're always going to give you more for your money, especially when you don't pay any money at all. So that's even more that we're giving you. You get all this entertainment for free here from us at the Power Hour. So as always, I am Dr. Michael Werman. He is Dr. Andrew Scaff. We are the Warning Track Power Hour. Please like or subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast, which is available on many different podcast delivery platforms, including the one that you're listening to right now, if you're listening to us on the podcast. Um, yeah, so we have next week to look forward to. We'll talk more Major League Baseball, talk perhaps World Series matchups, depending on how the things shake out this week. Um, we'll be getting either into a World Series matchup, or we'll have some close league championship series to talk about next week. We'll also review Week 7 and preview Week 8 of the NFL season. We'll talk more about, of course, our favorite teams, the Kansas City Chiefs, uh, and uh, and the teams that we bet on this week. We'll see how our locks of the week do. See if we can reach the 500 mark one of these days. And we also will wish you the best of luck this week making your bets, as long as your interests, of course, do not conflict with ours. So don't just make the opposite picks of what we're making. Simply just stick it to the Power Hour, guys. Uh, we wouldn't like that very much. Although you would be successful if you had been doing that all along. Maybe that's what the sharp gamblers are watching our show for, to go the other way. The zig when we zag, or zag when
Oh,
we zig. Um, so. But we're not recommending that strategy because we're going to turn it around, and then we'll be the ones laughing all the way to the proverbial bank.
yes. First proverbial bank,
First
official
proverbial bank.
sponsor of the
Yeah.
Warning Track Power Hour.
Yes.
As a throwback to last year, I think at some point,
We
yes.
did have that at one point. Yes, the proverbial bank. Well,
First proverbial, Mike.
first proverbial
Bank of choice.
bank of choice. Yes. And thank you again for your patronage, your listenership, and We here at the Power Hour will wish you a good day.